David must be really pleased with that great victory.
Hugely pleased. It was some result for us to come here. We sort of depleted side and get a result. I thought Nottingham Forest played incredibly well against Man City. We're unlucky not to get something out of the game. And obviously they're probably a big need for points as well. So it always meant that we would be under pressure. The atmosphere inside the stadium as well would always play a part here as well. So I think great credit to the players and to the ones who come in who haven't played much football. Big praise for them.
Yeah, how kind of depleted was it? I think you said before the game, obviously you didn't really want to include Jack because he's illness. And how tough has it been?
I think we've got 8 out at the moment, we've included the 2 boys that are away at AFCON. So we never had a huge squad anyway, so without me going too deep, I think we've got nearly 30% of our squad out at the moment, which is difficult to come to terms with. But we won't continue. We won't be able to continue unless we start to get some of those players back. It'll be too difficult for us because we had 2 players today on 4 bookings, could have got booked and we've been short again. So it was an all-round brilliant performance by the players what they've done today to come up against a team who I thought Nottingham Forest played really well, put lots of crosses in the box, attempted to score but didn't quite do it because we defended brilliantly well.
I understand there'll be some great scenes at the end as well.
Yeah, quite right, because we've actually had, I think many is it now away from home?
9 calendar year.
9 in the calendar year. This is never an easy place to come and get results. So I'm incredibly pleased with 2 away games, which everybody's had, not just us. So to get a point at Burnley and 3 today and take 4 from the 2 away games is a good return on 2 away games in the Premier League. So really pleased with that.
John?
A goal and assist by Jimmy Garner. He was outstanding.
He was fantastic, Jimmy. So I think his goal was terrific. It was a good pass through by Dwight in the last, and he finished it well. And but the second goal he'd done great. He wriggled out a tight situation. I think it was with Murillo possibly, and he made a great pass through for Thierno. So Jimmy had played terrifically well in the game. Really did. Played so well.
David, with apologies because you will have answered this before, but obviously Jimmy's out of contract at the end of the season. What's the status with that? Are you quite relaxed about that situation?
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable. Yeah.
And no danger of anything happening in January?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying I feel quite comfortable with the situation. Yeah.
Have you seen him develop this season?
I think he's hugely developed as an individual, and there's a bit of a. I think even when I came, I still saw a bit of a boy, and I think I now see someone who's turning into a really good leader as well, beginning to take a bit more responsibility, and grow up and begin to start to act like a real midfield player and wants to take responsibility, happy to come up against the best players. Like he's coming up against a couple of really good players and sort of Anderson and Gibbs White, etc. So I thought he looked as good as MD tonight.
David, big away wins have been a theme of your second stint at Everton. You've had quite a few already, but given the circumstances tonight, where does that rank? That must be one of the most impressive.
I think it's one of my best, not my best personally, the team's best, because of what we had available to us. And sometimes when you go into the games like this, you're not. I thought it was going to be a difficult night for us, really. And sometimes, those nights change around. That's what football does to you at times. And great credit to the likes of Pato coming in, Merlin, Tyler's playing sort of second game right off, and they stuck at it. And we didn't have many changes, so it meant that most of them were going to have to find themselves playing the best part of 90 minutes.
That felt like a really positive performance from Tyler. Some of the things he did, obviously tracking back as well, but also he drew a lot of important fouls. It looked like he learned a little bit from Jack and Illiman.
Yeah, well, he should do. He's only young, so he has to learn. And I think the biggest thing for me, he showed real character to keep going in the games, and he's just starting. We want him to be a bit more dynamic in what he's doing. We want him to try and score more and create more. But I think overall, his ball carrying at different times today was very good.
And in relation to Alcaraz and Keane, obviously both missed out today injured. Do you think either of them are likely to be back before the weekend, or do you look longer term?
I'm not giving any details on that just now. I'll see how it goes over the next few days.
And just in relation to, thank you very much. Obviously, January opens very shortly. Do you have any more thoughts? You reached a conclusion on Harrison Armstrong, particularly given the nature of the squad at the moment?
Yeah. More than likely, we'll bring Harrison Armstrong back.
Thank you very much.
Any further questions? Anton?
Yeah, just obviously David, that Everton puts you up to, as it stands, 8th in the table, but I know you've got limited resources player-wise at the moment, but it feels like this could be a really special season if you can get everyone back.
I'm hoping that the players coming back, and a lot of them don't. I'm including the AFCON boys. I'm sure the same as what Nottingham Forest have got to do. Somewhere mid-January, hoping that some of them injured players can start to be back in those months with a bit of luck, or in that month with a bit of luck. Look, we want to keep pushing. We went to Chelsea 2-3 weeks ago, knowing that if we could beat Chelsea, we might have gone 4th or 5th in the league. I've got a hope that maybe I get a chance somewhere in February or March. So I get an opportunity to do that again. So the only way we can do that is by hanging in at the moment. But if we lose today, you could have been 15th. You win, you could be 5th. So it's really difficult for everybody to sort of weigh up the league. But I think the most important thing is that the more wins we're getting, the further we're getting away from the bottom end of the league. That's for sure.
Okay, folks.
Cheers. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. You too. Happy New Year to you all. Yep.
Sean, how you feeling after that one?
Disappointed. Happened to us at Fulham, a pretty dominant performance statistically, differently there away, but here, very dominant stats, but stats don't win games. I've said it for years. I remember the myth 10 years ago, people said you have to have the ball to win games. It's a myth, we all know that now. Everton didn't, but they defended very well, and it's with 2 good goals from their point of view, really poor goals from our point of view. Dominated the rest of the game with the ball, but you can't, it's not good enough dominating games. You have to find the edge to go and score goals. And it's one of them challenging situations of finding that balance between mixing our play to be effective, but then also playing in a way that we think is suited to the players, and we're still working that out, I think.
52 crosses from your side tonight.
Yeah, lots of passes, lots of crosses, but I don't think they were in massive trouble. They had a couple of scrambles and a couple of moments, but look, if you win that 1-0, everyone says a totally dominant display. But because you don't win that 1-0, they say a really good away performance from Everton. And that's fair, by the way. I'm not knocking Everton Football Club at all. And I thought they defended resolutely, defended very well, and scored 2 good, like I said, good goals from their point of view, really poor from our point of view defensively. We had plenty of the ball. We got into key areas. We created moments, but not really with that killer moment, I didn't think. And that's really frustrating after being a dominant side. But goals win games, and we didn't find a goal.
You've been very positive about the progress this team's been making, but is tonight a reminder that you also need to look over your shoulder?
There's never been I don't need a reminder for that. 3 games ago, they also were brilliant. So, that's how the storyline changes, and we've got to change that the other way. That's the biggest challenge, I think. Dealing with expectations as well. Since I've been in the big games that have come round, we've sort of risen to them, and then the ones when the expectation change onto us, dealing with that. Can we go again? I felt it in the stadiums, like big expectations. Go on then. After the Man City performance, forgetting about referees and all that. Can you step on again? And a couple of times since I've been here, we haven't done that. After that game, we haven't gone delivered again. So that's the next step. Can you find that consistency we spoke about the other day in everything you do? The challenge tonight was a different one. Very dominant with the ball. Lots of crosses, lots of moments, but don't find the killer edge, and therefore it becomes a bit of a damp squib from our point of view. On the other hand, that's the madness of football and the madness of what you guys do. If we win that 1-0, everyone says, totally dominated it. That's the storyline, really.
John, did today underline the sort of players you got missing, the ones you're coming back from injury, short in key areas?
Yeah, I think we're still there's some very good players who are missing. That's fair, but I think we've still got players here who can perform and can win games. We've shown that, so I'm not going to start making excuses. It's helpful if you've got everyone fit. Well, at least we are getting bodies back fit, which will be helpful. But yeah, I mean, it's there are Woody's been a loss. We know that. Obviously, that's quite obvious. But we've still got players who we believe could be effective here.
Is that what you needed to do? Do you think you needed to
You've got to ask more questions. It's very difficult to play 700 passes and break down a packed defence. It's a very difficult thing. So you've got to ask more questions. You've got to play long, short, long, short. You've got to ask more questions by breaking the back line. I don't think we did that often enough. And when we did, there wasn't that real cutting edge or that real killer moment, you know. And I think same at Fulham, well, for an away side, slightly differently, but quite a dominant performance, but never really had their moments which are the killer moments to go and score a goal. And then if you're not going to do that, that's fine if you're going to keep the ball and play. I don't mind it, but you don't lose the game. You know, you've got to get something from the game, even if it's 2 points. We'd have probably took it, you know, with the Fulham game and that game. But you can't let in goals like that. They were really poor goals. That's my most frustrating thing.
Sean, forgive me if you were asked this yesterday. Is Woody's injury mean you have to reassess?
Yeah, it's months, not weeks. Yeah.
You probably have to reassess probably getting another striker.
Well, I think we're always assessing, but like I said the other day, you know, that it's not just the ownership here will back the club. We know that, but you still got to find the people and it's still got to be the right deal. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
So a few boos at the end from the fans. Can you understand that?
Yeah, I think why not? Because in the sense that expectation rise, I just spoke to the players about it. I said, you know, in a way, it's not easy. Of course, you play some big teams who've had some big results against them, but it sort of dampens down that. But tonight, I think there certainly was for me, but I came in tonight thinking, go on then, after the Man City performance, there was an edge with that. We were very unfortunate, I felt, with decisions. I'm not going to keep going on about that. But there was a real edge to the performance. And I was expecting that. And it was just, like I say, you can talk about stats and all that, but there wasn't an edge to the performance tonight. It wasn't an edge where you go on then. You know, I didn't come away with that and go, wow, we absolutely battered them completely. We did with stats, but not actual killer moments. And the expectation should be here. I mean, we've done a lot of work from when we've got here, and I've said all along, when we beat Tottenham here and everyone's so brilliant, I said, no, hang on a minute. It's a good showing, but there's a lot to learn here. That's an experienced group in Everton. A lot of them players have experienced the Premier League a lot. A lot of ours are learning about the Premier League. And that's sometimes the difference. It's not just about stats, it's about that feel of the Premier League. And that's where we've got to learn. Expectation changes. And it should be at this football club. And it's our job to keep pushing expectation. And that's what we're looking to do. Our own expectations, sorry, not from the outside, our own as a group.
Sean, that was really resilient performance from Everton.
I know, I taught them lads well, you know. They keep telling me what I didn't do there, but no one thinks about the things we did do. No, like I said, there's no question of them. A good away performance for that reason. You know, staying resolute, despite all the, you know, really powerful stats. But never really looked in particular. 2 centre-halves I thought were excellent. The back four, really, but staying in situ, not really being adventurous, but won the game. And I'm a great believer in winning this. You know I am, and it's not... Look, a lot of our play, like I said, it's the madness of football. If we were in that 1-0, everyone would have said, oh, it's totally dominant, had this many passes, this many crosses. But the definition of being a successful side is winning games. Now, how they come about. And that's where we've got to rise to the expectation. A lot of people, you could sense in the stand tonight, they're like, go on then, go and win the game.